Today, we're diving into something that most of us were never taught how to do, but it can completely change the way you feel about your month and honestly, your life. We're talking about monthly reviews, what they are, why they matter, and how to use them to not only track your goals, but also to protect your peace, your time, and most importantly, your sanity. If you're tired of the month flying by in a blur, if you've ever looked up and thought, wait, how is it already the end of the month? What did I even get done? This episode is for you. And listen, I know I'm not the only one who feels like I just put away my Christmas tree. So let's slow things down, get intentional, and take back your time. And if you're craving more white space in your day to work on your goals without scrolling your life away, make sure to grab my free Tech Timeout Guide for Moms. It's full of simple, doable ideas to help you unplug and make room for what matters most. It's helped so many moms set boundaries with their cell phones and get hours back in their week, and it can do the same for you. The link to grab your free guide is in the show notes. Do consistently. Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work and time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Carrie, a wife, mom of 3, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. Okay, let's be real for a second. When was the last time you actually paused long enough to ask yourself, how did this month really go? As moms, we're constantly moving from one thing to the next, work deadlines, school pickups, meal planning, hopefully, just all the things life throws at us. But if we don't take the time to kind of zoom out, we start living on autopilot. And that's when we end up feeling exhausted, we feel unfulfilled, and wondering if we're even making any progress in our life. A monthly review gives you a moment to celebrate the wins that you've probably forgotten about, learn from what didn't go as planned, to check in with how you feel, not just what you did, and course correct before the next month flies by. It's like giving yourself a personal performance review, but with grace instead of guilt. So I want to walk you through the exact 5-step check-in I do every month. And I promise you, you don't need hours, just 15 to 20 minutes, a quiet-ish space, and your planner or a journal. And you're going to ask yourself these 5 questions, starting with number 1. What am I proud of this month? We skip this one way too often. I want you to sit there and I want you to list 3 things: mom wins, work wins, personal growth, even just surviving a tough week. Name it and claim it. And remember to give yourself grace with this one. If your goal was to work out 3 times a week, but you weren't consistent and maybe missed a week or only got to do once a week, but it's still more than you did the previous month, that's a win. Heck, even if you did less than you did the previous month, but you still made it a point, put your health first a few times this month, put it on there. Second, what felt heavy or off this month? Where were the struggles? Was it overcommitting, not enough rest, too much screen time? Maybe one of your kids was struggling with something this month that affected you. Or maybe your partner's job was super stressful, or your job was super stressful and it trickled into your home life. This is not about beating yourself up. It's about building awareness. And once you're aware, then you can actually do something about it, possibly get outside support, or at a minimum, give yourself that grace on the things that you didn't get to do because you had other things pulling at your energy. Third, what routines worked and which ones didn't? Think morning routines, after school routines, family dinners, bedtime, workouts, screen time boundaries. What felt good and sustainable and what needs a tweak? And if you're like, what routines? Then I'm telling you, this is what is holding you back. Kids thrive with routines, and so will you. And the most important routines are your morning routine and your evening routine, setting yourself up for a successful day and carving out quiet time alone for yourself. And if you're listening to this in real time, the cart for my Mornings Made Simple workshop is opening soon. So get yourself on the wait list for a nice little discount. Think of it as an investment in yourself. I promise you it'll be worth it. And if you're listening to this after April, I'm hoping to have my workshop available for all. Just scroll down to the show notes. Everything should be updated. Number 4, where did I make progress on my goals and where did I stall out? Pull up your goals and go through each one of them and ask yourself, am I moving in the right direction? Is this still aligned with the season I am in? Or maybe did I even start this one yet? We start the year with such enthusiasm and high hopes of what we'll accomplish this year, but then life happens, you blink and 3 months have flown by, and you're like, how did that even happen? I'm going through the same thing with some of my goals. I really wanted to have my basement fully cleaned out by now. I've talked about it so much in the show. Like, I've seriously been chipping away at it for, I can now say, years. It was my goal in 2023 to get the older half of my basement cleaned out and painted because it's unfinished and it's like 100-year-old cinder block walls and old built-in plank shelves. It literally looks like a dungeon. But then I decided to start a podcast and it drastically slowed down my progress. But I still chip away at it bit by bit. But I thought that this summer would be the year that I would have everything gone that no longer serves me down there and be able to get one of those pods to put everything else in that I wanted to keep and get it cleaned out and painted. And then I could put everything back all nice and organized. But if you went down there right now, you would think that I didn't touch a darn thing down there. But with goals, if you've listened to my goal setting episodes and really set your goals up right, where you're breaking them down into mini goals and creating target dates on your calendar, then this process should be pretty easy to do. And if you didn't set up your goals that way, then guess what? One of your top priorities this week is taking the time to break down your goals. I'll link all the episodes in the show notes so you can check them out. And if decluttering is one of your goals, then you can start by booking a donation pickup for a date 2 to 3 weeks out, and it will seriously light a fire under you. So get to work. Number 5, what do I want more of next month and what do I want less of? This one right here. It sets the vibe for your entire month. Think of it like an emotional goal setting. It's less about the task and more about how you want to feel. Do you want more peace, more laughter, more margin in your schedule so you're not sprinting from one thing to the next like you're a mom-themed obstacle course, not sprinting from one thing to the next? Maybe you're craving more connection, like actual conversations that aren't just logistics about snacks and pickup times. Or maybe you want more energy because, let's be real, running on caffeine and sheer willpower is not a sustainable strategy. I've tried. Then flip it. What do you want less of? Less rushing, less people pleasing, less saying yes to the things that drain you faster than your phone battery at 1%? This question is powerful because it forces you to pause and ask, what needs to shift to make space for that? It means protecting your mornings, asking for help, or saying no without giving a 3-paragraph explanation. It's not about becoming a whole new person. It's about becoming more you, the version of you that's calm, clear, and really aligned to what actually matters. I tell you, for me, a big one is I want to be outdoors more. While I'm great about going for my morning walk, I hate being cold, like hate it. Hate it to my core. So my midday mental mile walks have been few and far between. Now that the weather is getting nicer, I need to be outside more. It makes such a difference in my mental health. So that's a change that I'm focusing on in the next month. Now we're going to move into how to use your review to actually plan a better month. Now that we've looked back, let's use that wisdom that you just got to plan forward. And here's how to take that reflection and build a month that feels intentional, not chaotic. First, you're going to set your top 3 goals for the month. And honestly, this is a serious game changer if you can get into the habit of picking your top 3 goals for the actual day too. But your top 3 goals for the month should be a little bigger than your daily goals, but still attainable. And they should reflect on what matters most right now, not what looks good on paper. Less is more when it comes to focus. For me, one of my big goals was my health and my weight. And technically, I'm back in my jeans, but the muffin top is in full effect. I just want to wear a fitted top with jeans without looking like I'm smuggling an inflatable pool ring around my waist, which is why I have a seriously deep emotional attachment to my high-rise leggings. Bless them. They're like a gentle hug that says, girl, I got you. So yeah, this month I'm incorporating some ab exercises back into my workout routine because wearing that tank top with jeans this summer, that is my goal. And side note though, a major light bulb moment for me recently, I listened to this episode of Mel Robbins' podcast, which if you don't listen to her podcast by now, seriously, go listen. But she had on a guest, Dr. Stacy Sims, and my jaw was honestly on the floor half the time. I'll drop the link in the show notes for this particular episode because it's one every woman needs to hear. Basically, they talked about how women should actually eat and exercise differently than men if they want to see results in fat loss, energy, and really just your overall health. Shocking, right? Because who would have thought that we aren't just smaller version of men with better skincare routines? Dr. Sim really breaks down in a way that we can actually understand how women's hormones totally change how our bodies respond to food and exercise, which explains why you and your husband can start the exact same routine and somehow he's dropping pounds like it's a clearance sale and you're over here doing the exact same thing, still rocking the jeans with a stubborn belly fluff. I mean, Russ started eating overnight oats with me for a week and lost 4 pounds. 4. Meanwhile, I'm over here measuring almond butter with the food scale, wondering what's going on. It's actually become a joke with us. He'll be like, "Oh, I'm down 2 pounds." And I just give a serious side eye. But one big aha moment for me from listening to that episode was about fasting. I usually don't eat until after I drop the kids off at school and after my morning walk, thinking that I'm being disciplined because you hear fasting, it's so great. But it turns out that's a big no-no for women. Dr. Sims explains that we actually need to fuel our bodies before we move in the morning, or it can backfire on our metabolism, our energy, and our hormone balance. I don't know the whole science behind it. She does an excellent job of explaining it, but check it out. So this week, I'm tweaking my routine. I'm eating my overnight oats before I go for the walk instead of after. It feels totally backwards for me, but I'm trusting her science and I'll let you know how I do. But there are a bunch of other super doable changes she talks about. So definitely give the episode a listen. Big tangent, but my point is part of this process is also figuring out what hasn't been moving the needle forward and seeing what tweaks you can make to help you crush those big 3 goals. Second, create a stop doing list. This one is super important. What drained you last month? What's gotta go, or at least take a back seat? Maybe it's late night emails, weekend overscheduling, or saying yes when you really want to say no. If you haven't grabbed my Boundaries Made Simple guide, go grab it now. It will help you stop doing the things you don't want to do. It will help you say no to the things that are holding you back and not bringing you joy. And it will help you create more time for the things that matter, like those top 3 goals you just set out for yourself for the next month. Number 3, block time for your priorities. Don't just hope to get to your goals, put them in your calendar, whether it's date night, workout time, or deep work blocks. Schedule it like you would schedule a meeting. And I hope at this point you're blocking time to plan your week ahead. And if you're not, consider this your virtual hand slap. You need to be sitting down and taking time to block out time for your priorities, for your non negotiables. And just some stats for you. Dr. Gail Matthews did a study at Dominican University and found that you're 42% more likely to achieve your goals when you write them down. When you take the time to plan your week and write down what matters to you, you're signaling to your brain, hey, this is important. It boosts your commitment and your accountability. 2 things we working moms are already rock stars at. And we remember to put ourselves on the list. And the American Psychology Association and Cal Newport's deep work research found that time blocking can increase your productivity by 80%. 80%. Come on now. When you chunk your time and give every task a home on your calendar, you're drastically reducing decision fatigue, distraction, and wasted time. It's like decluttering your mental closet. Suddenly, everything has a place. And I personally use an hour planner along with my Google Calendar. But even if you're just using your Google Calendar or whatever electronic calendar you have, use it. And if you need help with that, just reach out to me. I will gladly help you. And number 4, make space for joy and rest. This should be one of your non-negotiables. You're not just a productivity machine cranking out tasks and checking off to-do lists. You're a whole human with a heart, with dreams, and a deep need for joy and rest. Rest isn't a reward for finishing everything. Spoiler alert, everything will never be done. And joy, it's not a luxury, it's a lifeline. So stop waiting for that moment to magically appear and create those moments on purpose. I want you to build white space in your calendar. Literally, schedule nothing on the agenda time. And then use that space to reflect on when was the last time you felt truly happy? What were you doing? Who are you with? What lit you up from the inside out? Now take what you discover and make a plan to bring more of that into the next month, whether it's a solo coffee date, a dance party in your kitchen, or a weekend hike with your family. Put it on the calendar. Protect it like you would protect a meeting with your boss. You time isn't selfish. It's really soul fulfilling. And the more rested and joyful you are, the more present and powerful you're going to be in every area of your life. And next month, when you go to ask yourself, what are you proud of? Let this be one of your answers. You're proud that you were able to make joy a priority, because that is what should be a priority in our lives, doing the things that make us happy. All right, friends, that was your monthly reset. And it's not just about getting more done. It's about checking in with who you are, what matters, and whether the way you're spending your time really reflects that. Until next time, remember, you don't need more hustle to have more impact. You just need intention. You got this. And I'd love to hear what you're doing next month to bring more joy to your days. Head on over to our Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms, and tell us all about it. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your Instagram stories and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life or come on over and hang out in our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat.